The Grizzlies have done a lot of signing their own players to start via free agency, but the one new addition comes to us via the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ty Jerome, the newest Grizzlies, signed at 3 years, $28 million. I asked Nick Camino of our sister station WKYC in Cleveland about just what the Grizzlies are getting in Jerome. Hanging out with Nick Camino over there at WKYC, our sister station under the Tegna umbrella. Nick, how goes it, man? I know you guys are kind of staying in pat here a little bit in free agency, but is Cleveland still feeling pretty good after that playoff run?
First of all, Avery, I had to show you how beautiful Cleveland is. That's why I did this outside, because I know, it's probably not as nice a weather down in Memphis, but hey, we do okay here in the summer. But no, yeah, listen, it was a great year for the Cavaliers, 64 wins. They had that first seed in the Eastern Conference, but as you know, they fell short of their ultimate goal, which I truly believe was an NBA championship. And when you kind of saw the way things were falling, where the Knicks took care of the Celtics, and if the Cavs just could have beaten the Indiana Pacers, I think they really felt like they had an opportunity to make a run at this thing. But they run into a hot team, as you know. Indiana got hot at the right time, and it was a tough way for a 10. But I still feel like they think they are still in prime position to not only be one of the best teams in the East, but to still win an NBA championship.
Okay, so you guys bring in a Lonzo Ball, trade out Isaac Okoro, which I feel like most Cavs fans are probably okay with. But you guys also lose a bit of a depth piece in Ty Jerome, who's coming to the Grizzlies, 3 years, $28 million, the reported number. A lot of Grizzlies fans kind of feel like this is a steal in terms of the amount of money that they thought Ty was going to kind of command in free agency. Kind of tell me from your perspective, do you agree with that? And what are the Grizzlies getting in a Ty Jerome?
Yeah, I think when you see the money now that's being shelled out all across the NBA, I mean, $28.5 million is almost seems like a bargain over 3 years. So, so the money aside, I think it's a nice pickup. It's going to add depth. You have depth for, right behind John Morant or whoever might be playing at the guards. And he's a nice player. I mean, he's that gritty, tough type of player that comes off the bench, and he was a finalist for the Sixth Man of the Year award. Had a great playoff game against the Miami Heat. I know that the downside on him was he did disappear a little bit in that Pacers series, but I think a lot of those guys did. So really made a name for himself, averaged over 12 points per game last season. Really felt comfortable with Donovan Mitchell, who was an AAU teammate of him. They kind of grew up together. But I think now he's got some extra confidence after what he did last season, and I really think he's going to help the Grizzlies. Here in Cleveland, we talk about playing with that grit and that toughness. Nobody does that better, I feel like, than the Memphis Grizzlies. So I feel like he's going to fit in nicely down there.
When you kind of look at what his jump was from year 1 to year 2 in Cleveland, what do you kind of attribute that to? What do you think made that jump possible for him?
I think just kind of knowing his role. Not to throw JB Bickerstaff under the bunch. I think he did under the bus. He did a great job here and did a great job in Detroit. But I do think this new coaching staff with Kenny Atkinson and some of the assistant coaches, they kind of brought him out of his shell a little bit. I just think he was able to kind of be more of the player that he maybe was at Virginia, where he won a national championship in college. So kind of just having that extra confidence. And now that he's done it at a high level in Cleveland, I think you're going to get the best of Ty Jerome in Memphis.
Yeah, I think when you kind of look at what the Grizzlies have been looking for, you are kind of wondering, okay, they get rid of a Desmond Bane. He has, that's a 20 points per game scorer, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. You're kind of wondering who steps into that role. And obviously they get back a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope as kind of maybe their de facto 2. You're looking at a Ty Jerome and you're kind of wondering, like, is he in that starter tier? And I don't think the Grizzlies are going to ask him to necessarily be that. But if he can come in with that second unit and with a Scottie Pippen Jr., who is kind of going to be that primary point guard, I think, be a shot creator of his own. A lot of people are looking at him as like in that same range of money that Luke Kennard was commanding, right? But if you look at Ty Jerome's skill set, he is much more of a shot creator than what Luke Kennard is. Would you kind of agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I think he would fit nicely with that second room. Now, I think he could play with Morant a little bit because he played with Donovan Mitchell, and I kind of, I see some similarities there. But you're right. I think coming off the bench, with that second unit with Pippen Jr., who did I thought a great job for the Grizzlies over the last part of the season. I think that he could really fit in nicely on that second unit. He's got a great floater, and I know the analytics people are kind of against the floater shot, but he makes it go for himself. He can create his own shot, but he also can get other guys, into the offense and can make the guys around him better. So he's one of those guys you look at. It's like, don't judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean, Avery? You kind of look at him, you're like, can this guy ball?
Sure.
And he can. He can. And he's got a little attitude to him, too. So I think he'll fit in nicely.
When you, as you've had a chance to kind of be around the Cavaliers organization and around the team, what have you kind of noticed about Ty Jerome in the locker room, Ty Jerome, the teammate, that you can kind of share with Grizzlies fans who may not be familiar?
Yeah, I think his teammates respect him, and they respect his journey. He was a first-round pick by the Philadelphia 76ers, but after that, he kind of bounced around, couldn't really find a home in the NBA. The Cavaliers actually got him from the Golden State Warriors, but he wasn't playing much. Cleveland is really where I feel like he grew up and was able to blossom. And a big part of that was, I think, him feeling comfortable in an NBA locker room, being friends with the star player on the team. But now that he's going to a different organization, I think he can implement some of what he brought here in Cleveland. Just being a more confident young man. He's 27 years old now, and I just think that you're getting a more grown, mature player, dare I say, veteran that can help the Grizzlies.
Where do you think the Cavaliers go from here now that you understand that you guys are kind of bumping your heads up against that second apron a little bit, right? What moves do you foresee the Cavs still particularly needing to make or could make? I know LeBron James is kind of floating around there in the ether. Is that going to be a thing for y'all again?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to, and I thought you thought I would be crazy. The safe choice would be run back their core four with Mobley, Allen, Mitchell, and Garland, and just bring back what you did. You won 64 games with those guys. You were the top seed in the Eastern Conference, and you're a title contender. You're one of the best teams in the NBA. Saying all of that, there is the big elephant in the room that is LeBron James, and the fact that there could be a scenario if you wanted to come back here. You look at how tough the West is. You see it firsthand. I think in the Eastern Conference, he would have a little bit of an easier route to the finals. You look at the Celtics being banged up now. They're going to be a changing team a little bit. The Pacers are dealing with some injuries with Halliburton. So if that becomes a realistic scenario, and I don't know that it is, but if it does, then the Cavs will look different, because if you're going to get a LeBron, you would have to give up a Jared Allen, a Darius Garland. You would have to give up some major parts. I think the Cavs would want to hold on to Mobley. They'd obviously want to hold on to Mitchell and make it work with LeBron and some other pieces. But you would lose a big part of that core four if that was going to become a realistic situation.
All right. Well, we'll have to see what the Grizzlies continue to do, see what the Cavs continue to do. Two teams that kind of feel like they are in that probably different tiers of contender status right now. But, Nick, I really appreciate it, man. You guys do excellent work out there at WKYC in Cleveland. And maybe we'll see you at the top sometime the next year or two.
Avery, it was a lot of fun, buddy.